If you're like me, you might find that you get stuck in one of two moods. The first mood is where you're really productive. You want to study, you want to exercise, you want to create things, the world is your oyster. So those times are really good because you can get lots of stuff done. And then the second state is where you just Siebes. So with being Siebes, often what we need is just a little bit of a push in order to be not Siebes and in order to be productive. Because often once you find that you've pushed the ball a little bit, that boulder goes rolling down the hill, and that's all you need to actually get into the mood to be productive. But it's often that first bit which we want to conquer, and in this video I'm going to be talking about a specific way to conquer it called implementation intention. It's really, really powerful. This video hopefully will be really useful to you. It's been really useful to me, and I want to tell you about the way that I've done it myself. Let's start with talking about what implementation is to start off with. So implementation intention starts off with this intuition. So like in 2001, there were these researchers in Great Britain, and what they did was they took about 300 people and they wanted to split them into 3 different groups, and they tracked their exercise habits and how well they kept those habits. So for the first group, which was a control group, they didn't do anything. They literally just tracked their habits and that was it. For the second group, they gave them motivational speeches and stuff, pep talks, to try to get them excited to exercise and think about the health benefits of exercise. And then for the third group, what they did, and this is really interesting, so they got the third group to write down the implementation intention, to write in a diary, I'm going to do this thing, whatever it is, at this time in this place. So very, very specific in terms of what they were going to do. So if you ever think about it, between these 3 groups, like, you probably have an idea about which group did the best. The first group, obviously, they didn't have any intervention at all. They were tracked, so that's still a thing, and about 35% of them did exercise once a week, so not too bad. For the second group, the motivation group, the motivational speeches may have cost the researchers some money and didn't have any effect on these guys whatsoever, because they too were about 35 to 38% in terms of how often they did exercise once a week. And then you look at the third group, the group that wrote down those intentions. That third group, 91% of them had done exercise once a week. That's crazy, like from 38% to 91% by writing those implementation intentions. And these are smart people too, so they like that is a really significant amount that they improved. It's very easy to implement this in your own life. You can do this through an analog method. So for example, if you already have a diary, you're probably doing this to some degree, like where you're writing down the times and this is the time I'm going to do this thing, and that's a really good method. In this particular video though, I wanted to share with you one method I found really useful recently. If you're into tech and stuff, and I totally am, then using these cool tools sort of might be something that you're interested in. So before I go into the exact tool though, I have to mention that this tool is only available on iPhone and Mac/iPad. So if you don't have those, sorry, you're gonna have to stick with some other method. So this tool is called Sorted Cubed. So the app Sorted, basically it looks like a to-do app when you start off, right? So and you certainly can tick to-do list items, and you can add to-do list items. So let's add one here, edit this video. You can see that the time is pretty late at night. It almost looks like a stock standard app, right? But there's more, there's always going to be more. So first of all, you can set a different time for the individual tasks. So let's say that I'm going to read, I don't know, Stormlight Archives or something. So I'm going to do that, and I want to read it at, let's say, 11 AM tomorrow. So I put 11 AM, and this little the smart prompt comes up, so that's kind of cool. I will click that, and that gives me a time, and voila, it's there with the time. So you can see that it's automatically going down to the bottom. No matter where I put it, it'll probably go back down to the bottom. Oh, it's actually gotten rid of its time, so let me just set that back. This thing on the left hand side is a ruler, so you can actually set times, and then it's okay, so you can do that for whichever other things. So let's say at 11:30 AM I want to do something else, so like eat breakfast after reading Stormlight Archives. And you know, it's kind of just looks like a to-do list with timers to start off with. But this is where it starts to get really interesting. So let's say that I knew that a certain task was going to take a certain amount of time. So for example, reading Untitled two chapters, I assume that it's going to take like, I don't know, an hour or so. So I'm going to put that down as an hour. It doesn't have a time or anything like that. But the reason for doing this is because one of the coolest things is that you can, first of all, edit the different multiple things at once. And so let's say that I wanted to all keep them about 11 a.m. So I can like literally select all of those, do that. The way that you do it is physically by doing this almost upside down L-shaped movement to select a bunch of different things. It's got a very, very satisfying like sound too. And if you want to dilate the time between them, and this is an interesting concept. So let's say that like I just wanted to like have a certain amount of time in between these different tasks, because obviously these are all at 11 a.m. at the moment, but I probably don't want them all to be at 11 a.m. So what I can do is I can select a bunch of them like I just have then, and then I can use my two fingers and expand. So I can actually expand it like this, so that now they all have an hour in between them. Similarly, I can contract it, so let's say I didn't need that much time for each task, then I can just literally pinch in after selecting all of them. So that's pretty cool, and that's quite useful. The most useful thing I think of this app though is the auto schedule. So with auto schedule, you just tap the top right there and click auto schedule, and then let's say that you want to schedule things from 9 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. Tomorrow morning. So I'm just going to click that, click next. There's a lot of tasks that don't really have a duration. I've put one of the tasks with a duration, which is the Murtaugh books, but for the rest of them, let's just assume that it's going to be 20 minutes. So if I just do this, voila, it's come up with a time frame for each single task that I put on, and just out of the times that I wanted there. So that's really awesome, because this is a very, very direct implementation of implementation intention. That's kind of meta. So that way you can see that, okay, I'm going to do this specific task at this specific time, and you'll find that that's really going to be something that increases your productivity by heaps. Let's say that you have this issue though where, you know, one task took over time. So for example, let's say that editing this video, it didn't just take the 20 minutes, which it probably won't, but actually took much longer. So when it comes to the actual day itself, you can tick individual things, but let's say that you need to reschedule stuff. So one way that you can reschedule everything is simply by doing this and, like, you know, adding a few more minutes on. So you can add a whole bunch of minutes to your day like that, or you can just click auto schedule again and it will reschedule everything for you. It keeps the tasks that have a specified duration as being that long. So for example, you can see here that the read Murtaugh 2 chapters thing still goes for 1 hour, and that's why my next task is at 12:30. But yeah, that's how this app works, and it's something that's really, really flexible. As you can see, it's something that is very, very quick, as you can see, and even if you don't really complete everything in the day, at least by having a default plan, when you have times where you feel that you don't feel like doing anything, well, you've got a default plan to fall back upon, so that it's sort of reduces the need to have willpower and extra thought at that particular moment, because you've really got that plan there in place. So again, the app is called Sorted. It is a few dollars on the App Store. I think it's like $7.99 or something. I can't remember off the top of my head, but it's super duper good. They have a Mac version as well and an iPad version too. So if you're thinking about a very concrete way to do implementation intention, I've been using this app and I've found it personally extremely useful. Today I was using it because I wanted to drive back to a certain place and then pick up some stuff and then drive back and then go to a dental appointment and stuff. So I just chucked it all in this app, and you know, I got that done, you know, fairly efficiently by my standards. So I think it's good. Consider getting it. Even if you don't necessarily get this app, just the idea of implementation intention will probably double your productivity already, depending on whichever method you use to do it. If this video was okay, feel free to click on subscribe. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Helpful, helpful. Thanks.